awareness without compassion to yourself is just punishment in like a cute outfit. So while we create this awareness, we also have to have compassion that prior to this awareness and this newfound understanding about what is actually going to create change in my life, whether that's relationships, my weight, my social groups, my career. Welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast, the podcast where we debunk the eat less, move more, shrink more mentality and focus on what really matters, which includes your relationship with your body, food, self-worth, and the behaviors that align with all of those. I'm your host, Christina Hathaway, licensed therapist with specialized training in food and body obsession, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach. At the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast, we believe what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror. So let's have a conversation about that. Before we get into today's episode, I want to make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, if you don't want to miss any content that's being dropped, make sure you hit that notification bell as well. I also want to know who are the people you want to hear from on this show and what topics would you like me to continue to cover. Thank you so much for your continued support. Now, let's get into the episode. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. I'm so excited that you took this time out for yourself to learn something about your physical and mental health. You should also feel proud about that. Also is the word I'm trying to say. Today, we are talking about the ghost of patterns past. This discussion is so important because I cannot tell you guys how many times my clients or even women that I talk to on clarity calls, they think that it's their behaviors, meaning the nuanced, I just need to try harder, right? Or I need to get back on track, or I just don't understand why I can't do what I know I need to do, right? And normally it looks very different from my perspective. And we are going to talk about patterns. You've heard me talk about it before, but I cannot reiterate how important your patterns are and obviously how those patterns are created. And then we're going to talk about the reality of changing those patterns, because for a lot of women, they think that, oh, they're just going to learn what I teach them and then boom, they're going to be experts in it, when that is so far from the truth. And or they do well for a short period of time and then they kind of reach this hump or this barrier that it gets in their way. And I hope you walk away today understanding that this is absolutely a process. You have been probably engaging in these patterns for majority of your lifetime. So to think that they're just going to change overnight is completely unrealistic. And just like Ebenezer Scrooge, he had to see his patterns of the past, his present, his potential in an effort to change his life. Now, obviously, this is going to happen in your sleep overnight, but I thought it would be fun to kind of use that as our focus for today. So for me, I think, the most important thing that I teach people is you can't change what you do not see. I say it over and over again, because in the fitness industry, whether that's a nutrition coach or a personal trainer, they're going to change what you can see. And that's not to their fault. They just don't have the clinical training to actually see behind the curtain. And so they'll change what we can't see. They'll change the diet. They'll change the types of foods you eat, when you eat, how you eat. They'll change the workouts, when you work out, how much you work out. And it works for a short period of time until the pattern comes into play, right? The other part of this statement is you also can't see what you shame. And shame is such an interesting concept because shame puts a label on us. The difference between guilt and shame is guilt is I did something bad. And you have the wherewithal that what you did was wrong or bad. However, shame says you are bad. You are not enough. You are worthless. You are unlovable. And shame is a very secretive, a very evil, a very fearful emotion. we do not share our shame with other people. And honestly, we are shamed by other people. That's how we receive shame. Shame is almost like a contagion. You probably received your shame from someone else. And so I want to also reiterate that being able to speak out these patterns and why they are there, understand these patterns and why they are there, eliminate shame. Shame cannot exist in the light, as Brene Brown says. So we're going to talk today, and I'm going to pull my notes forward because when I made this, it was cute, but I want to read it. I said, today I want to talk to you through something I call the Christmas Carol mirror. It's not about ghosts. It's about the patterns that keep running your life, why you keep missing them, right? Why they keep coming back, right? Because most of the women that I work with are not clueless. They know what to do. They've done it. They have done it over and over and over again, but they still come back to the same outcomes, right? You know why you binge. You know why you overtrain. You know why you fear weight gain. You may even know why you do not rest. Some of you don't. That's a big conversation. I'm actually going to be on Mind Pump has a private group of women, and they asked me to speak about this very thing because a lot of them really struggle with like feeling guilty when they want to rest or need to rest. But the problem is you can't figure out why you keep doing it, and more importantly, how to stop it. So I believe I spoke about this concept before, but we're going to really dive deep into the concept of pattern blindness. So pattern blindness is when we keep doing these same patterns that don't serve us, but they're so familiar to us that we mistake them as a personality flaw. So yes, we are talking about behaviors. However, we're going to get underneath those behaviors. So as I'd mentioned, women come in and they just think, I'm just a perfectionist, or I just can't seem to get it right. I can't get my shit together. I don't know what's wrong with me. I know what I do. I just don't do it. Does that sound like you? Because that damn sure sounded like me when I was in it. I just thought, what the fuck was wrong with me? Why was I not enough? Why was I alone? Why was I, unlike everyone else, struggling? And my biggest struggle was with my relationship with my body, but also in relationships with others. And I kept doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, as we all know is the definition of insanity. For me, I kept attracting to myself the same type of person, thinking that the end result would be different, which was absolutely not true. I had to understand why I was attracting that person. So for you, why do I keep ending up in the outcome that I end up in? So let's think about that. What are your outcomes? Are you someone who starts really strong and then ends and just thinks it's something in you, your lack of motivation or willpower? Is it that you put yourself in positions where your time is maxed out because you're so afraid to say no, because you're afraid of what people might think of you, because your entire life you've been told that what people think of you matters? Think about that. What are your outcomes? The ones that we don't like, whether that's in relationships, whether that is with your diet and exercise, whether that is in your career, right? I want you to think about that. And we're going to take a step back from that. Okay, what are the behaviors that lead to that outcome? And be very real with yourself. For me, it was finding men that I had fantasized about, meaning they showed up very irresponsible, broken, needing me, right? Not wanting me, needing me. I needed to parent them. And I did, because that's what I knew. I knew to take care of people who were wounded. And I co-signed on cars. I helped them get into apartments. I would, whatever it is that they needed, I was going to be their savior. And then I'd get resentful because they weren't showing up for me, because I was only helping them in an effort to get what I actually needed, which was someone to take care of me for once. But I didn't know how to ask for those needs, nor did I attract to myself someone who had the capacity to meet those needs, right? So those are the behaviors. And for you, what is the behavior? That could be I eat very rigid when I'm trying to lose weight. Like, I have specific foods that I can eat. And if I eat outside of those foods, I'm a failure. I think that weight loss has to be restrictive. You may not even think this, you've just made it this way. You think that weight loss needs to be restrictive, means you can't enjoy food, you can't enjoy, some wine, you can't go out to eat. Now, yes, there's a compromise in a weight loss journey, but it also depends on like how quickly you're trying to lose weight, right? And even that, if you're trying to lose weight too quickly, that's also a part of a problem. Like, that's a behavior that can create patterns with outcomes we don't want. So what are your behaviors? Is it that you do really well during the week and you assume in your mind, because you've done so well Monday through Friday afternoon, that you're going overboard or allowing overindulgence on the weekends doesn't count when it does, right? Are you someone who simply just is in the clouds when it comes to bites, licks, and tastes, when it comes to tracking accuracy, when it comes to, trying to do a workout program that quite literally has no fucking business in your life? What are your behaviors? Okay, I've talked about relational, I've talked about and physical. Then what is the belief? So for me, it was, I am only lovable if, right? I have to save people. They need me, and they're going to be so grateful to me that I saved them, that they will love me forever. I say it out loud now, it's kind of crazy, but it was my truth. It was my truth. So what do you say to yourself? I can only change if I punish myself. That statement right there, actually, if you think about it from a child, the only time that you challenged yourself or tried harder or got the message in was when someone punished you, right? Or the only way that I can feel proud or earn something is through exhausting myself, right? Because rest is not my friend. I have to push myself into the ground in an effort to earn the right to be happy. And in 2 episodes, we're going to talk about joy and actually feeling it. I know, what a concept. So what I just explained to you guys is what I'm calling the self-trust pattern. And the self-trust pattern is something I say all the time. Your beliefs about yourself dictate your behaviors. Those behaviors dictate your outcomes. Your outcomes make you feel some sort of way that then make those beliefs stronger, right? And most of us do not even have an understanding that this pattern is what is standing in your way. But instead, you're shaming yourselves around your inabilities, why you suck, why you're less than, which is only making the pattern worse. Why? Because beliefs dictate all of it. Okay, so we're going to meet our past, present, and potential selves today. So this is where our Christmas Carol lens kind of leans into what we're doing. So past you, right? She's the girl who she's learned to overachieve to feel safe. She's learned, if I can do things perfectly, then I can predict the outcome. And predicting the outcome feels safe to me, right? She's used food. She knows that food will always be there to help her soothe whatever emotion she's feeling. She's learned that what other people think of her is more important than what she feels and thinks of herself. Okay? So that is past you. So I want you to think about who is past me? Who is this woman that has created these outcomes? Right? What has she learned about herself? What narrative does she play in her head about who she is? What story is it? Write it down. Okay? present you, right? She's aware that this shit's not working anymore. She's aware that she has tried everything. She's gone to every doctor. She has been told, lose weight, lose weight, lose weight. She's been fat shamed. And that still doesn't work, which it shouldn't, obviously. But she's still stuck. And she knows, though, this is a problem. However, she's so stuck in judgment, right? I know better. Why can't I do better? And this is where people can really make this turning point and decide, okay, I've been doing the same types of things. Now, I want to explain that, guys. The diet name may change, but you're doing the same style. Restrictive, leaving out food groups, rigid, perfect. These are the same types of patterns, right? Or the same types of behaviors. You're a woman who makes it all happen. The deadlines, the deals, the demands. You're disciplined, capable, and results driven. But lately, it's taking a lot more effort to feel like yourself. You're still achieving. You're not thriving. And deep down, you know, success shouldn't cost your energy, your focus, or your peace. You don't need another plan. You need a strategy that matches your ambition. You've built a life around achievement, but no one ever taught you how to sustain it. Most high-performing women are operating with fractured systems. Great work ethic, but poor recovery. A strong body, but an overwhelmed mind. A plan for success, but not for longevity. You don't need more hustle. You need alignment. Your nervous system, nutrition, and training working with you, not against you. Hi, I'm Christina Hathaway, founder and CEO of The Mindset That Matter, a company built to help ambitious women master high performance from the inside out. I have a master's degree in marriage and family therapy with specialized training in food and body obsession, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach who spent over 15 years helping women reprogram their relationship with achievement, food, and their body that they lead from. I integrate clinical psychology, behavioral science, and performance physiology to create what most programs miss: a complete strategy for mental clarity, physical resilience, and sustainable success. This isn't just life coaching. This is human performance training for elite women, where therapy meets science and strategy meets embodiment. This Black Friday, I'm opening a limited time opportunity to work with me directly, offering $775 off our 6 months one-to-one mentorship. This is a personalized, high-touch transformation program where therapy meets training and nutrition. We'll rebuild your energy, your metabolism, and your mindset so you can lead with clarity, confidence, and strength that lasts. Or also $775 off our 6-month group mentorship with Coach Liv, with my direct oversight and involvement in monthly calls. Same science-backed framework delivered in a community for women who want accountability, precision, and power alongside other overachievers. There are no strict meal plans. There's no hustle culture. There is no one-size-fits-all routines. You'll get an evidence-based system that blends therapeutic insight to regulate your nervous system and rewire your relationship with yourself, nutrition strategy to fuel your focus, stabilize your energy, and restore metabolic health, performance training that builds strength, stamina, and resilience without sacrificing your recovery. Because structure isn't the enemy, misalignment is. When your body and mind are optimized, you don't just get results, you keep them. This is the blueprint for you to become unstoppable. This Black Friday offer is open for a limited time only. When it closes, it closes. No extensions, no exceptions. If you're ready to stop settling for functioning and start operating at your full potential, this is your power move. Because wellness isn't self-care, it's a performance strategy. And the women who understand that, they don't just succeed, they lead the standard. The Mindset That Matter, where therapy meets physiology, where high-achieving women come to lead stronger, think clearer, and live with unmatched power. And if you are real with yourself and you say, wow, I have literally been doing the same shit. I just give it a new name. Or I take this intermittent motivation and think that that motivation is going to create confidence. So hear me out on this one. You'll get this like spark up your ass, and usually it's because you see the scale go up a ton, or you run into a friend who's lost weight and you're like, fuck, I need to get my shit together. Or you're dating and you want to, you think you can only find love if your body looks a certain way. So you get this spark of motivation, and again, usually it's out of some sort of judgment of yourself. And you associate that motivation with confidence. Confidence means I have done the reps, I have the work, or I've done the work, I had the experience, I've failed, I've moved ahead, I've learned, I've built confidence in this area. Confidence comes from doing. And when I say doing, that also means quote unquote failing, but never stopping and learning, right? That's how we build confidence. However, a lot of women think that motivation, that like little spark in your ass of motivation, because you're now judging the shit out of yourself and you overcorrect and say, I've got to change everything, I'm going to do everything. You think that that's confidence. It's not. It's false confidence, because you don't have the reps. You don't have the work. You have the fails, but you're not choosing to learn from them. You're choosing to judge from them and shame from them, rather than saying, okay, that didn't really work for me. Why? Right? So instead of being that person who thinks I'm going to get this magical motivation and all of a sudden do the thing that I've never been able to do, we need to look at present you. She is aware there's a problem, but she needs to be real with herself on what the actual problem is. What is the pattern? And potential you, our third one, what do you want to be? How do you want to see yourself 6 months, a year, 2 years from now? Do you want to be able to have a relationship with food that is flexible, where you can enjoy foods that you love, you can feed your body nourishing foods, 80, 90% of the time. You can go out with your friends and enjoy a night out and not lose your ever-loving mind. That would be nice, right? She works out. She moves her body, maybe 2-3 days a week in planned exercise and, walks or rides a bike or whatever, enjoys movement. Who is she? Potential you. She moves with boundaries. She leads without guilt. She rests without guilt. She rests without spiraling. So we have past you, right? Those are what I've learned about who I am, my worth, how I achieve safety, love, connection, autonomy, identity. Present you has seen how those patterns of past you affect you now. And she knows there's a problem, and she needs to get very real with herself about what those problems are. And eventually work towards potential you. Again, a lot of people want to jump from present you to potential you in a week's time. It's not going to happen. That is false confidence. We will work towards potential us, and I will touch on that here. So awareness without, though, compassion to yourself is just punishment in like a cute outfit. So while we create this awareness, we also have to have compassion that prior to this awareness and this newfound understanding about what is actually going to create change in my life, whether that's relationships, my weight, my social groups, my career, we have to have compassion for that gal. She wasn't ready to make change yet. She did not understand. She was in a level of competence, which I'm about to talk about, that had no clue. And that means nothing about her as a person. It just means she was unaware, right? So if present self keeps judging past you, potential you will never arrive. And I want to see that. I want to touch on that too, because so many women that I work with, they always say like, oh, I'm so mad at myself. I should have worked with you sooner. I should have found you sooner. I wish I would have, I've been listening to you for a year now and I never really took the chance until now. And I wasted a year. And it's like, no. You weren't ready. You weren't ready for this work. It's only until you're ready that you will be ready. And that's really it. So again, I'm going to say this one more time. If present you keeps judging past you, potential you will not arrive. Okay. So there's these 4 levels of competence, as I've already said 3 times. And these 4 levels of competence, explain why transformation feels so messy to people. And I want to explain it because it is actually step by step how we become more competent in something. Okay. So again, we've been doing this pattern over and over and over and over again. I don't know I'm in the pattern. We call that unconscious incompetence. Okay. Unconsciously, we are doing this thing and we have no competent awareness around why we do it. We just do. That is the past you. She just does it automatically. It's her default. You guys may have heard me talk about my roads theory before, where it's like when you drive to your house and like you can just drive to your house and like be doing 17 other things, but you get home safe. You get home safe. Think about that as like the unconscious incompetence. It's like I unconsciously just get there. I don't even know what I just did the past 10 minutes. I was doing my taxes. I was talking to my mom. I was painting my toenails, and then I got home, right? So that is unconscious incompetence. However, as I had mentioned, something happens, and that could be you have a diagnosis. That could be you have poor labs. That could be that you got on the scale for the first time and your weight has gone up significantly. And in our minds, we don't think that our behaviors should align with that weight, but they do. Whatever we've been doing, we've been kind of minimizing it or downplaying it, and now our weight goes up. It could be a threat to a relationship. Something happens, and you have to take a step back and be like, what is going on here? And you begin to see the pattern. You see the pattern, and you hate the pattern, right? You have to be aware that something is wrong. We call that conscious incompetence, right? And that conscious incompetence says there's something wrong, but I have no idea how to change this. So that's where the incompetence comes. I know something is wrong, but I have no idea how to change it. Okay. That is present you, but that's present you living in shame. And again, for most people, they're going to walk through this step. They're going to try to change out of shame when really we need to change out of solely the awareness. And how do we do that? We say, okay, I'm going to that shame place. I'm going to judging past me. And if I judge past me, then potential me can't show up. So I'm just going to acknowledge where I've been. That's it. That's what this step is about. Acknowledging where you've been. Then we go into this place where maybe you hire me or Coach Olivia, and we get to a place called conscious competence. I know what to do, but it takes effort. It takes conscious effort to put these tools into practice. This part, this phase, so conscious competence, and phase 1, unconscious incompetence, are usually where people live the longest. And we don't like that. We don't like to live in conscious competence of having to consciously make an effort to do something new. It feels very scary. We can't predict the outcome. It is unknown. Because remember, our patterns are actually really comfortable, even though the outcomes are not. If they weren't, then you would do something different. But they're so comfortable for you to eat really, quote unquote, perfectly to predict the outcome, even though that perfect requires you to fail. When you fail, you stop. You stop because that also predicts the outcome. You gain the weight, right? So that pattern, even though very comfortable, does not work for you, right? I lost my train of thought. So conscious competence is I have to consciously make an effort to do this new thing. And again, so many of you are uncomfortable with it because discomfort creates a new pattern. It creates change. There is no possible way for you to create change without getting some sort of uncomfortable. And the discomfort is in you not knowing, especially my gals who are high achieving women. You know, you lead boardrooms, you're an executive, you lead, law rooms, you lead surgery rooms. And the patterns that got you there worked in those situations, but something had to give. Anytime we put a lot of effort into something, something else has to give. And what ends up happening is your own health gives, your self-care gives. And because you try to use that same kind of hustle, grind, push until I'm dead mentality towards your body does not respond well to that. And you don't know how to do any other way but like pedal to the metal. So it becomes very hard for you to sit in this unknown because you've known. You're an expert in what you do. You've known. And so this can be very difficult for women. And that's why at the Mindset of Matter, our one-to-one coaching is so hands-on because we expect in conscious competence for you to flounder. And we are right there to pick you up and say, it's okay. We expect that. I might tell you that beforehand. I'm telling you right now, right? So conscious competence, present you with support of someone like myself. And the goal is to get to the fourth place, which is unconscious competence. This is who I am now. Confidently, true confidence, right? This is the potential you that we're always striving for. We have to go through each step to get there. So many women, I should know this by now. No, you shouldn't. You're not in that step yet. Or you haven't spent enough time in that step to create these new patterns. And let's talk about, I should know this by now. I mean, I have clients that work for me for a year or two who might still say that. I should know this by now. It's like, well, if you keep going 2 steps forward and 1 step back, then should you? You know? Also, you might logically know it, but when you're emotionally triggered, you don't use logic and reasoning. You use default. And your default is your unconscious incompetence, right? That old pattern. So I'm going to explain this one more time so that we fucking get it. You've been driving down that road, right? You're painting your toenails, you're talking to your mom, you're doing your taxes, and you get to your house. But that's not safe. It's not safe for you at all. And you realize it's not safe because something happens. Maybe you hit a bunny rabbit. Better get out and take it to the Humane Society. And you're like, fuck, I need to pay attention. And you're like, this road isn't even safe for me. Why do I keep driving down this road? Conscious competence, right? Conscious incompetence, excuse me. And you're like, what do I do? And I'm over here like, I can help you. Here's a perfectly good field. Drive down it. I'll sit in the driver's seat. You're like, what? You want me to plow down this field? Yeah. It's going to suck. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be scared. You're not even going to know where it ends. You're not even going to know what it's going to look like at the end. But this is exactly what we need to do. We don't have any other option. There's no other road. So let's go. Seatbelts on. I got you. And you're driving and you're scared and I'm sitting there. It's okay. We got this. Just keep going. We're going to get to the end. Just keep going. And we get to the end and we both sigh and you say, that was really scary. Yeah. Well, we're going to do that over again. And over again and over again and over again until you don't need me in that driver's seat anymore. That new road that you created is solid. It is smooth. There is no debris. It is not scary. It is now your default. Now, again, that doesn't mean that the old road goes away. The old road is harder to drive down. It's a little overgrown. There's debris in the road, but it's still there. And it will take effort in certain times in your life to not go back down that road, that pattern. Okay. So that is the other way of understanding this. We have to be aware of the patterns. We have to understand that it takes time to change those patterns. And we need to do it, I can't say without shame, but we need to be aware of when shame wants to take over and judgment wants to take over. And we need to proceed with compassion. Okay? The goal is never to rush any level of the 4. We just allow, right? The goal is to move again from shame to strategy in each level. Okay? So you can practice moving from level 2 to level 3 to level 4. Good. So here's what I want you to reflect on. As I've already said, what pattern am I repeating right now that I've used to protect me? And this can be hard to understand on your own, but I hope by listening to this podcast, you can kind of start picking up on these things. Like I talked about my pattern with men. It was find the guy that had really big hopes and dreams, but no action. And then I'd be the action. And then I'd wonder why they couldn't do anything. I just think of it now. It's so silly. My husband, when I met him, because I had done my own work, I had changed the pattern in myself by changing the what? My beliefs, right? Because that pattern is that self-trust cycle that I talked about. I changed my beliefs about myself, my worth, what I deserved, what I did not deserve, and learning boundaries around that. And I attracted to me someone who didn't need me. There was all his hopes and dreams he had accomplished on his own, right? He had his own ability to take care of himself. I took care of myself. We take care of each other, right? So I was able to do that. So what pattern am I repeating right now that used to protect me, or I use to protect me now? Where am I judging myself for not being further along? I'm so smart. Sometimes I write these notes and I'm like, wow, that's really smart. Where am I judging myself from not being further along? Okay. And then how would I treat a past version of me if she showed up at the dinner table or in my dreams, like they do in Ebenezer Scrooge? How would I treat her? Would you shit on her? Would you shame her? Or would you say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry these things happened to you. And now that I know better, I'm going to do better for us. Every version of you deserves that grace in your dreams, at the table, whatever it is. Every version of you, the hurt, the unhealed, the shamed, deserves grace. All of those things that have happened, that you've done or not done, the outcomes, you can, they make you who you are today, but also you can learn from them. What you don't like, what you like, what worked, what didn't work. You can learn from them too. So if I'm the first person to ever tell you this in your life, I want you to hear it. Turn the volume up. You do not have to shame yourself into progress. You don't have to do that ever again. And shaming yourself is not providing you with what you need. Your body, with food, movement, overtraining, right? When we're in our shame, we are hurting ourselves. And for a lot of you listening, you have hurt yourself into trying to change your body. You have punished yourself. Punish, hurt, unhealing comes from shame. And that shame creates the beliefs create the behaviors create the outcomes that you do not want. You need to understand. You need to be compassionate, curious, calm, have grace with yourself to be able to step into potential you. So I hope I hit something deep for y'all today. I truly, I want to say one more thing. You'll see on my Instagram, if you guys aren't following me, please give me a follow. The Mindset of Matter Coaching on Instagram and the Mindset of Matter on TikTok. I saw a obesity expert talk about how she was on the Mary Claire Haver podcast, and she talked about how a GLP-1 is her first step in treating obesity. And I listened to the whole podcast, and all she was talking about was behavior, and how the GLP-1 helps to change the behavior, which is technically true. But why is the behavior there? And she said, well, these people have heard, from every doctor, they need to lose weight. They've done everything. They've tried everything. So a GLP-1's the answer. No. A GLP-1 can help with changing the pattern, but if the GLP-1 doesn't exist, the pattern still does. And that's why we need to figure out what's underlying. And I did a whole reel on it if you guys want to check it out. So hopefully we hit home. It's so important. Stop trying to change these little minute things. Change the pattern. And then while we're understanding and we are aware of our patterns, our beliefs about ourselves, the behaviors that contribute from those beliefs or that we initiate from those beliefs and that contribute to our outcomes, then also realize it's going to take me these steps of building competence and confidence, true confidence, to get to where I want to be. That will not happen in a couple weeks. That may not even happen in a couple months. It may happen in a couple years, and that is okay. Because once it's done, baby girl, it is done. You have this new way of thinking and feeling. So if you are like, I want you to sit in that driver's seat with me, check out the show notes below to set up a clarity call link. Our program is by far the best program on the market. And I'm just surprised we're not busier, but we will be. And I'm only taking so many clients. So if you want to work with me directly, this is your sign. But also I hire only individuals with their own expertise in social and human behavior. Coach Olivia is a social worker. She has a master's degree from USC. She's also a personal trainer and nutrition coach. So if you want to work with individuals who really understand these patterns, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Other than that, make sure you're subscribed to this channel if you're watching on YouTube and you're following. I think about 54% of people who listen to this podcast aren't subscribed or following. So we would love that from you. It helps tremendously. And if you're loving this podcast, please comment below. Or if you're really, really feeling frisky, send us a 5-star rating and review. Other than that, I'm going to leave you reminding you of basically what I've said this whole damn podcast. And that is what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror. Bye-bye.